I can help you also attain your inner peace. We are all living on the planet, but each person in this room is living in his or her own world. Is that true? We are all in different worlds right here, right now. So world peace means I can have peace in my world. Can everybody here in this room say whether they can have peace? Yes or no? Can you have peace in your world? So world peace is attainable right here, right now, yes? Because in your world, you can have peace. So when you have peace in your world, and I have peace in my world, and you have peace in your world, collectively, we now having planetary peace. You see, I will not have peace if you don't have peace, and you won't have peace if I don't have peace. Because if I am disturbed, you will be disturbed. If I don't have enough to eat, I will break your door. Yes? Today we have burglar proofs and a second level burglar proofs because somebody is not at peace. So my peace will produce your peace. If I'm peaceful, I can help you also attain your inner peace. We are all living on the planet, but each person in this room is living in his or her own world. Is that true? We are all in different worlds right here, right now. So world peace means I can have peace in my world. Can everybody here in this room say whether they can have peace? Yes or no? Can you have peace in your world? So world peace is attainable right here, right now, yes? Because in your world, you can have peace. So when you have peace in your world, and I have peace in my world, and you have peace in your world, collectively, we now having planetary peace. World peace means each individual will experience peace in his or her world. But we need the right diagnosis, and that will give us the prognosis. Prognosis will help us know what interventions we need. But the problem we're having now is that everybody thinks peace is something that must happen instead of culture that everybody must individually create or cultivate. World peace means each individual will experience peace in his or her world. But we need the right diagnosis, and that will give us the prognosis. Prognosis will help us know what interventions we need. But the problem we're having now is that everybody thinks peace is something that must happen instead of culture that everybody must individually create or cultivate. All conflicts start as inner conflict. We operate differently, yet each person expects the other person to operate like him or her. That's where it starts. We all operate differently. The nose expects the eye to operate like it, and the eye expects the tongue to operate like it. And until we have this common understanding of our differences and the need for our differences for oneness, we will not see the goal, because it is all about you, the person. All conflicts start as inner conflict. We operate differently, yet each person expects the other person to operate like him or her. That's where it starts. We all operate differently. The nose expects the eye to operate like it, and the eye expects the tongue to operate like it. And until we have this common understanding of our differences and the need for our differences for oneness, we will not see the goal, because it is all about you, the person. Each person is speculating that the other person's way is better and is trying, therefore, to be like the other person. Then there is inner conflict. The moment you say the other person's way is better, now there's fight. I'm not good enough. Each person is speculating that the other person's way is better and is trying, therefore, to be like the other person. Then there is inner conflict. The moment you say the other person's way is better, now there's fight. I'm not good enough.
God is that love, that wisdom, and that power that is manifesting as all things, manifesting as the undying love between the heavenly bodies that is causing them to orbit around each other without any collision for the celebration of
You gotta get up and make a move, 'cause the world will never see you until you do. No, they don't really care what you're going through, so you gotta show them, baby. You gotta show them the real you. You gotta give them what you've got. No, don't let them see what you're not, 'cause you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby, 'cause nobody's perfect, darling. But no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you. What do you do when you can't let go?
Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning, and on behalf of Conscious Humanity International, I welcome you to Planetary Liberation Day 2021. The event will start in 5 minutes.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying.
Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all.
We can't go on pretending day by day
that someone somehow will soon make a change.
We are all a part of God's great big family, and it's true, you know, love is all we need.
We are the children. We are the ones who make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me.
Good morning, everyone, and you're most welcome. So shall we have our eyes gently closed for a prayer? Oh God, you are the very presence we feel in the air that nourishes us and gives us life. Oh God, you are the very presence in the sun that shines on us, transforms and transmutes us. Oh God, you are the very presence in the waters that cleanses. You are the very presence in the waters that cleanses and purifies us. And God, you are the solid earth on which we stand, and from which we are fed and nourished into wholeness. Oh God, you are the very essence of all of life. And in this, there is unity. There is the essence of religion, bringing unity to humanity in religion. Oh God, in you, that you bring the essence of oneness, of growth, of development in our culture. Oh, so do we see religion and culture, oh, working in harmony, just as the elements work in harmony to bring us life. Oh, and in this, we experience our heaven here right on earth. We experience the beauty and the harmony that you established right from the very beginning of time. In this event, we establish your peace through our deliberation, through the speakers, through all interaction, through all the questions. It brings us to an understanding that we are one people and living in harmony. And in collaboration, we establish peace. We establish heaven. We establish a blissful world in which all are settled and peaceful. We accept this as established with this event, and it is so. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Tetteh, for setting the tone for this event. My name is Philippa Bentuma Arthur. I'll be your host for today. You're warmly welcome to Conscious Humanity's Planetary Liberation Day. We have this program every year to teach the world how to establish peace. To make this possible, there's a reason why we are here. That reason needs to be shared. That reason needs to be explained. And to help me do this, I would have Brother Fred Eni, who is the Executive Director of Conscious Humanity International. Brother Fred, without much ado, please give us the welcome address.
Humanity team to welcome you all to our Planetary Liberation Day celebration 2021. This movement for world peace in our lifetime started in the United States 20 years ago when Brother Ishmael Tetteh, the founder of Conscious Humanity International, was there on a speaking engagement. The 9/11 bombing of the Twin Towers, which drove the Western world into a pandemic of fear, got him into contemplation. And he decided that rather than celebrating his birthday, which fell on the 19th of September, he would dedicate the day to the promotion of world peace. And Planetary Liberation Day was thus born to be celebrated on the third Saturday of September every year. And it has since been celebrated with the aim of giving attention to the primary interventions that humanity needs for us to have peace. Comparing it to the process of how epidemics are managed, the world's effort at peace have primarily been the signing of peace treaties and the use of education and sensitization sanctions to compel warring factions to truce, which is equivalent to the second and tertiary level of epidemic management, or let's say pandemics. There is really nothing that gives attention to for deeper conversation on what these two powerful forces are, ways to understand them, ways of making their different expressions work together, and ways of making society and welcome broader understanding of the essence of religion and culture. I shall trust that the panel today, made up of able and knowledgeable persons that will set us thinking and talking more about these subjects. The understanding of their essence will make us know why we should live in harmony with one another and how to work towards that. I am confident home after today's program, critical thinkers for peace. Bless you.
Thank you very much, Brother Fredini, for that welcome address. So I believe we are all set. We understand the reason why we are here. And we are going to introduce our special guest. Before I do the introduction, he's in the person of Mr. Diallo, Abdourahamane, who is the UNESCO country representative. Unfortunately, he's unable to join us here, so he's going to join us via technology, because then the world is connected via technology. And so we are grateful for that happening. So before that, please help.
This war.
In my lifetime, I have seen the Cold War between the East and the West dissolve.
We welcome change and openness, for we believe that freedom and security go together.
In my lifetime, I have seen the Berlin Wall come down.
There are many people who feel that it is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence.
In my lifetime, I have seen apartheid dismantled.
It is absolutely important that you have the knowledge to serve your country and your people.
In my lifetime, I've seen the man of color in the White House.
Out of many, we are one. That while we breathe, we hope. And those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.
In my lifetime, I've seen grassroots movements topple governments through the use of social media.
Freedom. Freedom. Only freedom.
We can come together to heal segregation and redirect civilization in the celebration of diversity in oneness. We can make it happen. I am Brother Ishmael Tetteh, and I believe that world peace is possible in our lifetime. It begins with you and I now.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
I think that deserves an applause. That video summarizes the essence of this day, that world peace is possible, and that it starts with you and myself. When I have peace and you have peace, we are in a peaceful world. So your peace, my peace, then the whole world will be at peace. And that's the essence of today. So I'll just give a brief introduction about Mr. Abdourahamane Diallo. We are still trying to connect with him via Zoom. So Mr. Diallo's early career with UNESCO spanned working at the headquarters in Paris as a member of the permanent delegation of Niger, and then as a consultant in the UNESCO Secretariat before becoming a staff member in 2002 as program specialist in the Africa Department, responsible for monitoring cooperation with the African Union and various regional African organizations. In 2006, he headed a department section for regional organizations and post-conflict situations, focusing on addressing the specific needs of African countries in crisis and post-conflict settings. For the last 10 years, Mr. Diallo has been working in the field, first as head of office and representative of UNESCO in Brazzaville, Republic of Congo, before moving to UNESCO's Kinshasa DRC office in the same capacity. He arrived in his latest position as head of office in Accra and UNESCO representative to Ghana in December 2018. Mr. Diallo holds a degree in industrial computer engineering and a Master of Business Administration in International Business Engineering. So yes, Mr. Diallo is still trying to connect with us. He's boarding a plane, but is trying to connect with us before that. But until the technical issues are sorted out, I'll call on our moderator, Jessica, to come do the introduction of panelists, and then we can begin with the panel discussions. Thank you.
Someone who refers to himself as a universal citizen. This is the founder of Ethereum Mission in Ghana, and he founded this great institution in 1975 and has since then been himself and has built a dynamic team that has set up a ministry dedicated to self-awareness and to the study of natural sciences. His message over 46 years has consistently been about self-awareness, being about identifying who you are, knowing how to relate with yourself, with your environment, with people around you. And this message has gone ahead to empower thousands of lives from across Africa to Germany, to the UK, to the United States, Malawi. The countries are endless. He believes very strongly that world peace is possible in our lifetime. Very ambitious, but that should tell you the kind of person that he is. He has also authored over 30 books that provides wisdom and guidance to many people who engage with his texts. This person is none other than Brother Ishmael Tetteh. Next up, we have Dr. Abubakar Mohammed Marzouk Azindu. He's a lecturer and researcher on a wide range of issues in languages, education, and religion. He's an alumnus of Oxford University Symposium on Religious Studies, and currently is the personal assistant to His Eminence, the National Chief Imam of Ghana. Currently, he lectures functional English at the University of Applied Management in Ghana, and is also the member of the governing board of the Ghana Education Trust Fund. Shall we please give him a round of applause as he comes up? Thank you. Our next panelist has since 2005 worked for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in several positions, including Treasury Analyst and Planning Analyst. He currently works as Temple Assistant Recorder. Elder Annan-Simons has served also in a number of church callings, including full-time missionary work in Ghana Accra Mission. He's been a ward clerk, he's been a counselor in a bishopric, stake young men president, high counselor, and stake president. In the April 2021 General Conference, Elder Samuel Annan-Simons was named an Area 70 and member of the third quorum of the 70 of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so this is a man who surely knows what he will be discussing with us here. Can we give him a round of applause as he comes up? Our next panelist is a chief. This is a man who has vast experience in business. He's well educated. He has a diploma in chieftaincy from UPSA and has been a chief since 2011. He's very, very passionate about promoting growth, peace, and development in his community, his society, and Ghana at large. He is the chief of English and Manfro, and he's in the person of Ni Kwashie Gborlor the fourth. Shall we give him a round of applause? So it looks like our chief isn't here currently, but when he comes in, we'll just have him join us. And so we'll just get right to the panel discussion. Good morning again for panelists. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Thank you so much. Okay, so as we heard from the welcome speech, we all know what our theme is: religious and cultural coexistence as factors for integrated and progressive communities. Being given this theme, I sat and thought to myself, this sounds very lovely. It sounds like a utopia that we all want to live in, but is it actually possible? And so the few points of discussion that we're going to go through to see if we can actually achieve what we have set forth here. My first question to our panelists, and I'll allow any one of you to, actually, we'll allow all of you to answer this specific question as we go in. Seeing as we're speaking about religion and culture, it's often, these two are often seen as distinct concepts, very different. But I'd like to know from all of you, are they really that different? Are they interwoven? If they are, in what ways? And why is it so difficult for us to see the connectedness? So, which one of you would like to start off?
Hello?
Hello. Well, religion and culture.
Can somebody help us to change this? Hello? Okay, so thank you.
Well, religion and culture are very much interwoven indeed, as you said. And we have no reason to try to separate and to think that they are different, and for which reason they cannot coexist. Saying that they cannot coexist itself, it's some sort of fallacy, because they're very much the same. As we live and as we practice, we become, and we pick up all kinds of ideas, and we make them ours, and we begin to believe that this is how I need to live, and this is how I need to relate. They become our culture. And so there's really no reason why we should think that they should be separated. In many ways, we are very much the same. There's a lot we have in common as religious people and as people who believe in culture. There's so much more we have in common than we have different. And when we emphasize on those commonalities, we will find peace, which is the reason and the essence for this program. I am sure that people of religion and people of culture all believe that we are children of God. That's one thing everybody believes. Even those who do not believe that there is a God and we are children of God, believe that there's some sort of power somewhere. So you may name it differently, but the essence is the same. And so there's a lot we have in common than we have different, and for which reason culture, religion, all of that are very much the same.
Thank you.
Can I say thank you for sharing, because what you've said is just what it is. Religion and culture actually Two sides of the same coin. Call them the North Pole and the South Pole of the planet. So they're speaking of the same thing. Because they all have the same aim. Everybody is a culture unto himself. Culture is a build-up of knowledge system based on your environment, based on the needs that you have. Because a culture for somebody in the Arctics will be different from the culture of somebody in the tropics. Because the environment can influence your way of thinking. So culture is a build-up of your thinking system, knowledge system, the way of living, and all towards one thing so that you can live in harmony with yourself and with your environment. When we come to religion, religion takes it from another angle where it gives you, like my brother said, a power outside of you that it says is giving you instruction and directions, all for you also to have harmony and peace with yourself and with your environment. When we do not see that they all speak in the same language, then we tend to think that they are different, they are opposed to one another. So sometimes you have somebody saying, that's my religious beliefs and you can't impose your culture. And others will say, that's our culture, you can't impose your religion. But if we look deep into both energies, and these are two powerful forces that rule the world. Actually, culture creates your thinking. Culture mothers and creates your life. It creates your soul. The language you are speaking, the way you think, your belief systems are all coming from culture. And religion gives you the belief system from somebody's experience saying, I've tested it, this is the way it should be. It's like, let me give you a shortcut, a way of living in harmony with yourself and with the environment. And this time, the shortcut is coming from a deity, usually outside yourself, somewhere in the sky to some people, and to some people to deities, right? But whatever it is, that you believe that if you live, there's a greater living presence that gives you directions. And we can learn harmony with this presence. That is religion. So culture and religion are just the North Pole and the South Pole of the planet. They are the same. And as we discuss, I believe we shall find their common language and see how we can foster harmony between these two. Thank you.
First of all, I thank all those who are here. My greeting is special. Because based on culture. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto all of you. Right. It is true. It is true in our culture, you have to establish that. One, from the perspective of abstract theory. Then the other one is from the perspective of practical way of life. Each of them can be described as theories or concepts, but both of them have been accepted by all scholars, by all intelligent people, by all rational people as ways of life. And it is accepted in every literature, from anthropology to zoology, that religion and culture are compatible tools of social order. As theories, they may have their distinct features. They may have different approaches. But at the end of the day, when we apply all of them, both of them, in a context of human existence, then you will agree with me that they answer one question. And then they are designed to achieve one element, one objective. And this objective is progressive life, peaceful life, constructive life. These are those that we should emphasize. If you look at religion itself, especially in our part of the world, it becomes impossible without an iota of culture. If you take any religious practice in this country, you will agree with me that that practice is influenced by the culture of the place where it is practiced. For example, most cultures in the north are influenced by Islam, and most cultures in the south are influenced by Christianity. That tells you that the dominant religion in a place influences the culture of that place. And then the other way around, the culture of a place also influences the dominant religion of that place. So in essence, we should try as much as possible to look at the practical aspect of the two concepts. And these practical aspects will bring us into one objective, and that is the harmonious way of living. If you agree with me, I can tell you that both of them are common in certain values. When it comes to certain values, both of them are common. For example, religion is about peace. Culture, every positive culture is about peace. Religion and culture agree on discipline, on truth, on unity, on love, on reconciliation, on forgiveness. These are all cultures that can enhance the well-being of humanity. In fact, the world has experienced a lot of the world has undergone a lot of negative experiences because culture and religion were thrown to the dogs. If you look at negative concepts of colonialism and imperialism, racism, slavery, and even now, terrorism, you agree with me that all these would have been avoided if humanity had taken time to respect religious and cultural values. So in essence, let us all agree that as humans, we will have our distinct characteristics, and so will be religion and culture. In spite of their distinct characteristics, in terms of theory, both of them practically answer the same question, and that is harmonious life of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We're just going to pause here because our guest speaker is ready. And so we'll just take his message quickly, and right after that, we jump back in. Okay, so again, some more technical difficulties. I'm sure we'll have them resolved. So we're jumping back into the discussion. I find it very interesting that all three panelists have said they're not different. One is not necessarily superior to the other. They all work together. But we see here, and we're going to focus and zoom in on Ghana for a bit, but we see here in Ghana kind of a mass acceptance and promotion of religious values over our traditional or cultural values. You get into any setting and people are more interested in pointing out, hey, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim. When you go deeper into their cultural settings, you realize this harmonious living that we're talking about, that's how they live, that's how they function. But some way, somehow, when you come into a public gathering, there's a need to see yourself as separate from another. And when we're choosing to do that, we choose to highlight our religious bearing more than our cultural values. My question to you is this: what does this mean for us as a people and our cultural continuity? What does it mean for us? And we've agreed that they can exist side by side, but when people are choosing their religious values or their religious identity over their cultural identity, where do we stand in the mix of all of this? Brother Ishmael, do you want to take that?
Okay. This is where my passion for Planetary Liberation Day comes in, that we give attention to the primary causes of the problem. Because often we are about the tertiary, the externals of the problem, and the real issues are ignored. Don't tell me you are a Muslim. Let me see the practice that shows peace. If we will give attention to the practice of Islam and the practice of Christianity, we'll realize that there's no difference. The essence, they're all teaching the same thing. But no two people have the same shape of nose, meaning that we all have different cultural ways of breathing the air. Similarly, we will have different ways of respecting the same presence that we choose to call Allah or God or Unyami. Now the focus now becomes your way of using or your way of calling your God or your way of practicing your ritual. And that becomes the confusion. So we forget the real essence of the religion or of the culture. If we can just pause and ask ourselves, what is the essence of the Ga culture, the Ashanti culture? What has brought us into what we are? We will come to know how to even shape or recreate culture. Like I said earlier on, culture creates us. If we can touch what in culture creates us, we can change culture. Religion also creates us. If we can give attention to what in religion changes us, then we can move religion forward. So Christianity is about love. Islam is about peace. I don't see that they are at conflict. But the way of practicing, the country where it's coming from, will tell me that as a Muslim, you have to wear the, how do you call it? The hijab. And then that becomes the confusion. If you don't wear the hijab, you are wrong. All right? And then somebody says, no, you have to wear the suit. If you don't wear the suit, then you are wrong. There was once upon a time in this country, Ephraim Amu was excommunicated from the church for dressing as an African to church. All right? So there we realize that the value has shifted from what the essence of the religion or the culture is to just the paraphernalia. What we all need to know is this. What is common to everybody, to everything in life, is that we are different. But our power lies in recognizing the unique gift that every unit of the difference brings to life. Because every unit of the difference has a contribution that enhances the other person's life. Every organ in the body has a contribution to the other organs in the body. So similarly, we need to just give attention to the essence. And when the essence for the religion or the culture is lost, then everything else is lost. In Islam, for example, I know one of their cardinal practices is a sadaq. Am I right? So you give out gifts and so on. And many people will just look at the physical giving of gifts and they will not come to realize that the prophet, peace be unto him, is calling upon us to make your life be a gift, a blessing to somebody's life. So it is not only just giving money or meat, but if you can even sit down and contemplate on noble idea that can promote somebody's life, and you give that idea to the person, you have done sadaq. If we give attention to the essence of the spiritual practice, instead of the manner, the way, the paraphernalia within which it is done, then we'll realize that we are actually saying the same thing. So the practice is lost because we have lost touch with the essence. And that's what Planetary Liberation Day usually want to touch on. What is the real thing? What is moving the engine? So we can address the primary. And if we come to realize that, oh, your way of peace is under way of love, because peace is love. Am I right? Yes. So now I'm learning under unique way of practicing peace. And if we can all be coming and discovering various ways of practicing peace, various ways of practicing love, it would be very exciting world, wouldn't it be? That's my take.
Thank you very much.
Great. Let me back up a bit. I have a hard time thinking that I'm a religious person and another person has culture. I think I'm a religious person and I have culture. So again, from the first question and our response to it, there's actually no difference. It's just, I'm the same. I have a religion, but I have a culture. So it doesn't make me different.
But which defines you? Which defines you more?
Both of them defines me. Because there's no need to separate them. And as Brother Ishmael said, culture is something that you pick up in society. As you practice over time, it becomes your culture. So is religion. So it's just one and the same. And so I think what we're trying to do is to not try and separate what they are, because they are one and the same. What has happened over time is that religious cultures have varied. And depending on where you're coming from and what your experiences are, you believe in a different religion or have different religious beliefs from another. But whatever environment we live in, we have cultures, and we will be people who believe in God or are religious people with cultures of that same place. And moving on from there, I like one of our articles of faith from the Church of Jesus Christ is that we claim the privilege of worshiping the Almighty God according to the dictates of our own conscience, and allow all men the same privilege to worship God, what, how, or whatever they may. So, and that fundamental principle is coming out of the fact that human beings are diverse. We're different in so many ways. And that diversity is very good for our mutual coexistence and for our mutual benefits. So the fact that I belong to the Church of Jesus Christ, somebody belongs to an Ethereum mission, somebody belongs to an Islamic organization, I do not look down upon anybody. I do not think they are inferior. I'm not looking to uproot their sins because they do not belong to my religious persuasion. I believe that we're all children of a Heavenly Father, God, Allah, Supreme Being, whatever name you may give to that power. And for that reason, we should be able to peacefully coexist, have our cultures, have our religions, however diverse they are, be able to live together in peace and in harmony.
So I'm going to put you on the spot there just a little bit more.
Okay.
Sitting back and listening to what you're saying, we all of us here understand what we're discussing. I believe that we're all of the same mind, and that's why we gathered here, to learn, to expand in it. But in as much as we believe, regardless of our differences, we should be able to live together peacefully. If we're 50 or 100 in here believing that, there are 1,000 people outside of this room that don't buy into this. So my question to you then is, how do we take this seemingly theoretical concept that you have just spoken about here and make it practical such that the 1,000 others who are not in here with us can see reason to begin to believe and to act in the way that we're discussing here?
Great, fantastic question. And I think the first and foremost thing is to focus on you and your example. I think Brother Ishmael alluded to this earlier. You have to show example of this principle that we are talking about. And again, as I mentioned, I don't see another person who does not belong to my religious beliefs as a sinful person whose sins I have to uproot and ensure that he's clean and sane. That's what I'm seeking to do. Whatever they believe in, I'm sure they truly believe in, they think it will bring them peace and happiness. And I want to celebrate that with him and emphasize that. So personal examples is first and foremost. Wherever you are, you need to give great deal of respect to everybody you relate to. And then you can invite others to follow your example. That's first and foremost. And whatever opportunity you get, such as this great opportunity, you speak to emphasize these principles. And also try to respect everybody and know that we each have conscience. And Heavenly Father, God, will help use our conscience to continue to teach us and help us. You know, we do not become very powerful and knowledgeable in one day. We grow over time. As we learn, as we practice, we improve. And we need to be able to allow people to make that journey of growth, of improvement, of expansion, without necessarily forcing them to have the growth, because they will. Just as you think you have grown, somebody is on that same journey and will get there.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to speak to that?
I share your sentiments. They are genuine. And I think they are due to our lack of understanding of the religion and culture itself.
Okay.
So I strongly believe that the solution lies in proper education. Proper education, because we seem not to respect the principle of unity in diversity. And in all situations, we are obliged as human beings to respect that principle of unity in diversity. Let me tell you something about Islam. And you will agree with me that whatever I'm going to tell you may have a similar thing in our sister religions, particularly in the Abrahamic religions like Christianity. Islam is about knowledge. That the first revelation from God to Prophet Mohammed was about knowledge, seek knowledge. And the verse has been constructed in such a manner that the object of that sentence used, but there is a command verb there, Accra, read, right? And you know the simple sentence structure, verb, subject, object. So there's a verb here, read. The subject is supposed to be Prophet Muhammad, who is going to read, but the object is open. What follows it is, read in the name of your Lord. So that tells you that from the Islamic point of view, reading of anything, provided it is designed to serve the interests of humanity and God, is allowed. And therefore, you should even try as much as possible to understand the cultures of others. This kind of education as an integral value of Islam is found in Christianity. I think the Bible somewhere says that with knowledge you will not perish. I'm paraphrasing. And without knowledge you will perish. So we have similarity there. Then come to the literature of anthropology. Scholars have agreed on what we call cultural assimilation. So you can even assimilate someone's culture as part of efforts at harmonious, peaceful coexistence. As an African, I am at liberty, within the context of cultural assimilation, to copy a European culture. So if I wear a shirt that is not naturally mine, I should be permitted, because it is allowed in the context of cultural assimilation. From the Islamic point of view, you are also at liberty to read the cultures and civilizations of other people, to be able to understand them very well and live with them peacefully. History tells us that Prophet Muhammad lived peacefully with Jews and Christians in Medina. And we are also told that through our understanding, we can see that all these concepts about religions, about cultures, are just ways of identity. But beyond the identity, we need to live peacefully. Let me conclude by saying that it is up to all of us to understand that in spite of our differences, we need to understand one another. And education is key. If we all devote ourselves or devote time to education, and to the need for us to understand and appreciate the cultures of one another, then we can lead peacefully. We in Ghana are even lucky. The cultural community and the religious community are regulated by the track of secularism. And that was why when we had differences, we all would run to either the Court of Competent Jurisdiction or the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So if we are lucky to have something outside our domains that will regulate our lives, then we should be thankful to Almighty Allah and should prove to the whole world that yes, we do appreciate one another. Ours is unity in diversity, and together we shall succeed. Thank you.
Nee, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. Brother Ishmael, you'd like to go on?
I love what is going on. I'm learning so much. Thank you all. So, the medication so far will be studying one other's cultures. We can appreciate where they're coming from. And I'd like us to go maybe even a step deeper to something very fundamental to the human being. Otherwise, we'll always be at the fringes of tolerating one another. I believe a huge global education is needed, like my brother said. A huge global education is needed. Inborn in everyone is a drive that many people have not given attention to. We call this drive the omni drive. It is the drive for you to be more, to excel, to be abundant. So there is this drive that is expressing always in the form of, I am greater than you, I am better than you, I am more than you. And you want your children in school to be excellent, where excellence to them means that they were first in class. We need a redefinition of these values. It is an innate thing within us. It needs an education right from the classroom, right from the home, where we come to know that we can never be better than one another, and that we can only be better with one another. That simple language can change a whole lot. Because when we are in the state of better than, then my religion is better than, my culture is better than, becomes a driving force. It's an innate force. But often we want to advise, let's have religious tolerance, let's have cultural tolerance, without addressing this drive, because it's an inner drive that I want to be more, I want to be great. Excellence does not mean beating my mates in the classroom. Excellence to me means outmatching my own previous best. But when excellence means I must beat you in the race, I must beat you in having money, when even I have $1 billion and you today have $1.2 billion, you're now greater than me, I want to kill you. I want to do something. The quest for us to be greater than blinds our vision. It makes us want to have and have and have without even considering when and what is enough. We will not care if even we have to destroy the whole forest and make all the money for us to be satisfied. Hence today, what do we see? Money values have overtaken human values. Human values have overtaken spiritual values. And the soul is lost. So there's this spiritual drive. Because we can't touch it, I'll say it is spiritual. It's an omni drive. We want to be perfect and more perfect than somebody's perfection. So my religion is better, my culture is better. Will continue to me to be, and will always be tolerating. And human tolerance has a limit. So at the point, it breaks. But if we can have education from childhood, from the home, where we come to know that the red color and the blue color are the same. It doesn't look that to the senses, but it looks that to spirit and then to science. That both are coming from the same streak of light. In the streak of light, we have the spectrum of billions of colors. And all are coming from the same source. You can't remove one from the other. When we come to appreciate, that will take us to the point of realizing that, oh, every color is a unique presentation that I have to enjoy. So we will realize the truth that we are different. That is common knowledge. but in the difference, we have uniqueness. So we shall be looking for the opportunity to celebrate our own uniqueness and the uniqueness of others. God gave us variety for our celebration, and we are using variety for our destruction.
Thank you. I'd like to ask another. Would you like to? Okay.
Yes, I agree with Uncle, and I think I've learned a lot from his elderly wisdom. What I want to add is that modern society seems to be much more individualistic than collective. And we need to shift from the individualism to collectivism. And that is where we can have the collective objective of humanity as a peaceful, progressive race. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll come back to this issue of collectivism, but we've spoken a lot about education. And I think that we'll all agree that learning to live with our social, cultural, religious, ethnic, and whatever other diversity has become one of the greatest challenges of modern education. And I'm talking secular education here. We've spoken a lot about spirit, we know about going inward, but a huge part of an individual's development happens in schools, in institutions, as we have it. And so we would agree then that educational institutions have an important role to play in promoting intercultural education and dialogue. We agree on that, do we? Okay. Now my question to you, because you all here are very learned people in many different areas, how do we go about managing this process of getting our educational institutions to jump on board? You know, because is it enough that we're being taught to survive in a world, learn a skill, come out, have a job, make some money? Is that enough? How do we partner with educational institutions to make sure that this kind of knowledge that we're sharing here, this wisdom we're sharing here, becomes more mainstream? Because then it's easier for our collective psyche to say, yes, we agree with this when it is mainstreamed. So anyone who wants to take this?
This is a very big and tall question. Today, you go to a school system or even Ministry of Education, and you give them a proposal of what can help inner transformation and inner growth of our children. They'll tell you their curriculum is full and they will not have space for that. Education today simply means survival. It's providing you with the tools and the means so you can be able to provide food, clothing, and shelter. That to me is just animalistic living. Because the gorilla has not gone to school, but it survives well. So we as humans must think of something beyond just survival education. Education to me must mean the knowledge that will help the person awaken to his or her own innate abilities. So the education is about dumping information on you that you have to just master and pass an examination. Education is not so much about identifying what you are and how to evolve that for your own advancement and inner peace. So it's been a very big challenge. One of my programs, Essential Life Education, is being taught today in the University of Malawi. The professor, Dr. Chiwoza Bandawe from Malawi, head of my works from an American magazine, came to Ghana, studied it under me, and then took it to Malawi. The university was really touched and said, let's practice this. Since it's been taught, I think, about 9-10 years now. And he, seeing the benefits in the students, was asking how well this program is doing in Ghana. And I said, we've gone to the Ministry of Education, but they will not give us the space. We've gone to the school system. The students must pass with their A's, so they don't have time for inner awakening. It's a simple knowledge for people to know how they are constituted within so they can function better and have inner peace for themselves and relate well with one another. And the students in Malawi are raving. Dr. Shiwoza promised to fly to Ghana. He did. And we were on GTV, we were on Joy FM, we were several radio stations, I think 3 radio stations and 3 television stations, I think TV3 as well. And we had many calls. It ended there. We had many calls. Wow. He said, I'm coming to tell Ghanaians what you have so you will wake up to it and learn it. We got the universities calling, the primary schools, secondary schools calling. But then when we follow up, they will not have the time and the space for anything other than learning physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics. So this is where we need a type of movement, a type of a sensitization and awakening for us to realize that we are not here to just eat, mate, people, sleep and die. We are spirit beings of the universe. We are great souls of the universe. We are cosmic possibilities. So we need something more than just survival education. We need education that will enable us to know, why do I feel the way I feel? Why do I think the way I think? Do I have access to all of my thinking? Am I in charge of the people who come to my house? I mean, the people who come to your thinking. The thoughts that come into you. Do you know them? Do you know where they come from? These are some of the things Essential Life Education will teach youngsters, and right from childhood they will know. So it's a very serious problem. We need the education, and actually we're still not giving up in conscious humanity. We're still working, and today I'm happy to have a lot of friends here. Maybe there'll be the need for collaboration, for us to have a bigger voice to speak for the nations of the world to know that this is an amazing way of living. Melrose School of Maths and Science in California is using one of my programs known as Growing the Empowered Child. And the students are making it much higher and better because Growing the Empowered Child is growing the child free from anger and fear, and who is in touch with his or her uniqueness and celebrates his uniqueness. When a child awakens to his uniqueness, you can no more ridicule the child. And many of the states of depressions, emptiness, loneliness that we feel in adulthood started from childhood. The criminal is manufactured from childhood. So we can stop crime by a new wave of education for children. These have been proposed, and I believe somewhere in the ministries, they may be lying on somebody's shelf. We trust one day they will come to life. Thank you.
I wouldn't have said anything, but if I fail too, then I will fail a duty to my own profession as a lecturer. But Uncle has been very charitable. Let me dare the consequences and say that what we have here largely is not education, it's schooling. Schooling. It's different from education. We have a system that is designed to produce people with certifications, but who cannot be relevant to the needs of the industry. And that calls for the overhauling of the entire educational structure, particularly the curricula of the various programs at the universities and the various subjects at the second cycle and first cycle institutions. This is very important. You agree with me that in the true sense of education, schools are supposed to be cultural institutions. And every school is not limited to the training of minds. Every school at every level is expected to train the mind, the heart, and the body. And once you are able to ensure these levels of training, then you will be training people in two main
categories, even though there are 3 elements. At the end of the day, you will have intellectual training and character training. So today, our education is deficient in character training. And that is why you can have first-class graduates who can abandon their courses and join ISIS. That is why you can have first-class graduates who can abandon the educational pursuit and join Sakawa. That is why you can have first-class graduates who can abandon the pursuit of everything positive in life and join the murder squad, because there's no character training. And therefore, there is the need for all of us to ensure that we infuse into our educational system a larger dose of character training. If you fail to do that, you and I can always assemble here, mourn, and we can talk of best graduates, good degrees, degrees that are even sometimes sexually acquired, pardon my word. So we have sexually transmitted degrees. And sometimes financially generated degrees. Because some of these degrees are meant for the highest bidder. Just go and finish with the lecturer or the academic registrar, and then you can have your best degree. So please, let's understand that we are now in a modern society. And the modernity of the time must dictate the curricula and the training of our educational institutions. If we fail to do that, definitely we cannot move ahead. I think what we need is not just schooling, not also just education, but transformational education. Thank you.
Great. I concur, and yes, and I like the way Brother Ishmael ended. At some point, he was a bit frustrated at the challenges that confronts us as we try to make these eternal ideas mainstream. But he ended by saying that we hope that in the future, this will be picked up and something positive would happen. And I want to be that optimistic that sometimes when an idea's time comes up, nothing will stop it. So probably the time is not yet, but it's soon to come. It will. It will, and it will eventually become mainstream. But whilst we await for that to happen, we have so many other opportunities that we can use to educate society and to do the very best we can within the sphere of our influence. We all belong to families. Everybody belongs to a family. It is believed that family is a basic unit of society. And so my encouragement would be that we begin from our own individual families. Even the few of us who are here and are participating in this beautiful discussion, if these are the true values we hold dear, then let us begin to practice them in our homes and teach them to our children to love and respect everybody, despite the differences they are. I love something that Brother Ishmael said, talking about colors, different colors, and the fact that they come from the same source, but in the spectrum, they break into different colors. So the fact that you are blue, someone is red, someone is green, doesn't make you different. Your source is the same. But the diversity is what brings about the beauty. If it was all red, it would be monotonous, boring. If it was all blue, but if we can see red, blue, can see different colors mixed together, they bring the beauty. So we can begin to practice these in our homes. We can teach them to our own children in our homes. And then, if every home is teaching this, you would see a pushback in our educational system, because the children will go to school, one size fits all education will be given, and they will raise their hands and ask questions. That will set people thinking and want to do something about it. So, yes, we have challenges, but there are also opportunities we can take advantage of to educate society and help them to see the uniqueness we are, the diversities that we are, and the fact that they are all very good. It helps it to be very good. Think about God's creation in Genesis. After creation, it says, and it was good. All of it is very good.
Thank you. Me? Would you like to speak to this? Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm very sorry for my late, but there's a say that is better to be late than none. Thank you. I think we are talking about education, and what I've seen and noticed and witnessed is education must not be even a classroom alone. Education must excel to everywhere. But one thing is, nowadays, when you tune out your radio station, television station, you see all sort of malam, rituals men, blah, 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 blah. Bring this and I'll give you this. I think it's circulating everywhere. And it is very important for the government, not government alone, and we, the chief and the traditional rulers, to take it upon ourselves, in a sense that it's about 6 months ago now, somewhere Kaswa area in my area. My area is English Yaman from, in which we share common boundary with them. A very young men, about age of 15, 12 years, went and killed somebody that the Malam said that you bring the part of the human for money. How can we allow or give way for such things to happen? And when they were questioned, or the police interrogations showed that they went to the Malam, first and foremost, they saw it on the television, and they traced the Malam. And this is an instruction that the Malam have given to them. What kind of Ghana are we? Parents, teachers, guardians, government, what are we doing about that? As a chief, the government cannot do it without the chief. Because in the ancient time, I think the chief are ruling, and everything is going on accurately. But now, it seems we are apart. We are apart. Because of that, the people cannot even hear the voice of the chief. And the voice of the people is the voice of God. So nowadays you can see everybody is trying his best to give his word a quality education or the best for his word. But now, when you finish the school with your degree, first degree, as my brother is saying, still saying whom you want a job opportunity, bring 7,000, bring this in 10,000 for custom, 8,000 for this immigration, and you are calling yourself a degree holder. Not just. Maybe, as my brother is saying, maybe you go and see the lecturer and maybe prepare your degree for you. That is your own palaver. That is your own palaver. But upon all spending time and every money that you want your world to be somebody, and you made it, for no one to tell you get away there, your father was a palm wine tapper, so he couldn't take care of you. Your father was a drunkard. Your father was blah, 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 blah. But even though the father was a drunkard or the father was a palm wine tapper, he tried his best with the dirty, and do his best. But at the end of the day, that he's expecting the world to become somebody, for him also to pray, to be established that this is my father, even though my father is a Pawan Tapa, but I've made him somebody, or bring him from a muddy area to a golden area, but still go and pay 7,000, go and pay 10,000 for a job opportunity. We need to educate ourselves. All that I'm trying to say in the education is not only the classroom, but you have to access to everywhere. Both pastors, imams, any other this in the religion should all come together, and as we have organized like this shouldn't be a 9-day wonder, but as time go on, we should come together like this and continue to deliberate certain things to educate ourselves, so that from here, when we go home, we take something home to educate our children. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask just 2 more questions, and then I'll give room for only 2 questions from our audience. So my next question is, and this is directed at you because you're the personal assistant to the national imam, the chief imam. We've seen that in Ghana, we seem to be quite successful at coexisting, on the surface at least. It looks like Muslims get along very well with Christians, different religions, even in Christianity, the different denominations. There are little tips in there, but then generally we seem to get along well. What I want to ask is, what factors do we think might have contributed to this? Does it speak to the Ghanaian culture? If there is anything like a Ghanaian culture at all, how have we been able to do this? But we'll answer that in a bit. But to you, just recently we saw on the news the chief imam had contributed quite an amount to the building of the National Cathedral, so the projects that we're doing. What does this mean in terms of what we're seeking to achieve with this discussion that we're having, or this event that we're having, that the head of the Islam religion here in Ghana says, Christians want to set up a national cathedral. We're going to support in this way and that way. What does it mean for us? Is this tokenism, or is this showing that perhaps we are well on our way to being a more integrated society where your goal and your objective, whatever it may be, if we see reason for it to be achieved, we'll support? What does it mean for us? And speak to it as a representative.
Thank you. His Eminence the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Dr. Osman Nuh Sharutu, is an epitome of interfaith harmony. And interfaith harmony has been one of his fundamental objectives. This is not the first time. If you remember, he once went to a church as part of the activities to celebrate his birthday. So this definitely is a practical expression of what we are doing here theoretically. Because theoretically we are discussing the issue. His Eminence may be too old to worry himself in the theory. He would rather want to practically show that what we are discussing is relevant. And the donation has been done as part of his own objective of interfaith harmony. He wants all of us to understand that we are from the same source, irrespective of our religions. We are from the same source. And that source is made up of Adam and Eve. So we are more human than religious. Because before you belong to any religion, you must be a human being. So the humanity is more important than the various religions, which are nothing but forms of identities. And that is why His Eminence wants everybody to understand that he is ready to do everything within the context of the Holy Quran and national harmony to ensure peaceful coexistence between Muslims and non-Muslims. Let me also say that His Eminence does that because he has also observed that he's well respected even by the Christians and other non-Muslims. Well respected, very well respected. He appreciates the respect he gains from these communities, and in return, he wants to ensure that at any time at all, there is anything national, because the cathedral is not a district cathedral, it's a national cathedral. And it doesn't matter, because I have been made to understand that it's not just a house of worship, but it is also a complex infrastructure that may be used for other national assignments. So in that context, His Eminence sees it as a symbol of national unity, as an opportunity of interfaith harmony, as a way of enhancing the quality of peaceful existence in this country. And therefore, His Eminence knows very well that from the context of the Holy Quran, there's nothing wrong with that. From our approach to democracy, nothing wrong with that. From our duty to patriotism, nothing wrong with that. From our duty to human peaceful coexistence, nothing wrong with that. And he believes that yes, there may be questions. Some of these questions may be controversial, but His Eminence is a man of hope. He believes that in the end, we will not be influenced by the fear of failure, but by the hope of success. Thank you.
Thank you. And so to my previous question before this question was answered, that Ghana as a country has, seems successful at fostering peaceful coexistence between different religious and cultural institutions within our community and on a national level. Why is this so? How have we been able to do this? What's your take on it? And what can we do to continue it or to even grow it, to expand to fit into what we've just discussed? Brother Ishmael?
Thank you. I think by doing so, we all need to tune our mind. Without tuning your mind, you can't get to where you are going. Now, I think unity without love cannot say, can never say, cannot hold waters. And love one another, as the Bible says, have tend to give and take now. Love one another, have tend to give and take now. And that is the corruption that we are talking about. And it is everywhere. And even when you are you are going to church or you are a Christian, when you give Opasa, Milo, blah, 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 blah for fasting, then your prayer will be counted. Your prayers will be counted, blah, 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 blah. All sort of these in tongues will come across. But when your money, or you are not stretch your hands as pastor, then may God bless you. God bless. Finish. If we are not trying to tune our mind, now this corruption have been part of us in our vein, our blood, and everything, embodiment. Unless we tune our mind and come as one people, being it Christian, being it Muslim, being it whatever. And we see ourselves like God created a people. I see you, I know that you are my brother. Sometimes you see away people, sorry. No matter what the situation is, they will tell you, no, nyeblo. Well, people, on people's eyes, but when they go home, they will do the same thing. You see Muslim, wallahi, at the end of the day, you see them together. The guns fancies every society or ethic. So unless we tune our mind that what is going on, you and I, we have to make a radical change. I think when we make a radical change or radical turn, it will help us and we will move this country forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I like to have us look back. I think in our history as a country, we've had situations where Christians and Muslims and some different religious groups have had conflicts in our country before. But over time, it seemed to have reduced, and we seem to be able to peacefully coexist. So I would see that as not just tokenism, but we're learning, we're growing, we're learning to appreciate one another and to know that there's a lot more we have in common than we have different. Even if you take the different religious groups, despite of all the different beliefs that we each may have, if you go at the core of it, the source is from the same place. If you take the Christians and the Muslims, like the professor said, from Adam and Eve, the story is quite similar. Abraham, very much the same. And we all believe in God, even though we may call it by different names. So we have a lot more in common. And we are beginning to tend to appreciate that we are very much the same people. So I think over time, we see no reason why we should kill one another, because the next person you kill is your brother, it's your friend. So over time, we have come to learn, and we have come to appreciate who we are, and that we're of the same people. And so we have no need to kill one another. But we can, you see, the challenge, which was earlier discussed, is that the success of another does not diminish your own success. There's nothing that anybody is having that is taken from you. If you're going to be successful, you will be successful. You do the things that bring success, you'll be successful, despite the fact that many other people are successful. So seeing people happy, growing and improving should bring you happiness. If seeing people's progress does not make you happy, then you have an issue you need to work at. But when you see people grow and improve and expand and are happy and are achieving, and it brings you joy and happiness, then yes, then you are in the right place. So we are seeking for the growth and the happiness and the success of everybody, not for a small group of people or a particular group of people, but for the collective good of everybody, because we are all God's children. Our happiness, all of God's children's happiness, makes God happy. So if a story is told of the travel of the Israelites from Egypt to the Promised Land, and it is told that the Jews have a tradition they call half hallows. After they had crossed the ocean, and the Egyptians were drowned, and they were jubilating, it is believed that God stopped them and told them, "Why are you jubilating? Those are also my children who are drowning." And so halfway through their jubilation, they stop. So that's what they call half hallows. Every one of Heavenly Father's children is important, is dear to Him, and should be dear to each one of us. Our collective good is what makes us happy and successful than our individual happiness.
This question is a very deep one, and I really appreciate it. Because if we don't give attention to what has given us the stability in spite of these little fights and quarrels we've had, then we wouldn't know what to nourish and continue to cherish. So, and that is not something that we can give attention to in just a short period of discussion like this. Because there are many factors. Some few years ago, the Christian community nearly had a clash with the traditional community. It nearly turned into a civil war in this country. They have to invite me to many radio stations, television stations, because I can speak from the Bible and speak from culture. Because part of Theory Mission's objective is to restore the mystical traditions of the African continent. Because a people without a sense of value will not make it. That's the way Africa can make true value and contribution to world civilization. So there are many factors that might have led to this stability. First, we have a very robust system of hospitality. The Ghanaian is known for a sense of hospitality. And we need to ask ourselves, what are the stories that have made us this hospitable? My grandmother will tell me, you have to leave some food in the night. You don't know a stranger who is passing by. That stranger could be your old grandfather passing by. And when you give him food and treat the stranger well, the grandfather will bless you. We take these stories for granted, but I've grown knowing that I have to ensure that the stranger is well cared for. This might have grown in me a sense of hospitality, so that any hostility will not gain good foundation within me for me to perpetuate it. So we need to give attention to these things that give us strength. Again, we had the opportunity of having probably a very good president, our first president, who saw the need to encourage intertribal marriages and consciously had a political program of moving people from the south to the hinterlands and moving people from the hinterlands to the south. So we started having intercultural, tribal marriages. So right now, you can hardly find a true Ashanti or a true Ga without the blood of some other tribe in him or her. So this interconnectedness might have also led to this. In fact, many of the Ashantis too will tell you there's no true Ashanti because some came from the north, and so on. So these might have also helped the intermarriages. Credit to Kwame Nkrumah. Then, of course, maybe our own spiritual upbringing. And when it comes to times like that, thanks be to God, there are people like Brother Ishmael to go and speak on television and radio and speak from Bible to traditionalists and speak from the traditionalists to the Bible readers, for us to know that it's the same and that there's no need for us to have a fight. Every Christian goes through some period of fasting. We have Lent, we have all of that. And traditionalists also say at a period, we must also have a time of fasting, silence, and prayer, which they call Madumo. They've planted the millet. In other words, a seed of righteousness has been planted for the community to contemplate on. And the chief usually in the former days will share the idea. And everybody, now we plant the idea. So every head of family goes into seclusion, contemplating on the idea, how the idea can benefit your family and community. Then on Homowo Day, we celebrate the Feast of Love. Homowo is a feast of love. Then the day after Homowo, a day of reconciliation. Ngowala. If anyone has offended you in the former days, and you plead for forgiveness on that day, the person must forgive, else the person is excommunicated from the community. Because it's a sacred day for forgiveness. I don't see how this is opposed to my Christian values or my Islamic values. Because one of the objectives of a Theory Mission is oneness of religion. Right? I've got my master here sharing something, but I couldn't hear him. Maybe you should have planned something for our masters here also to share a bit, because we have wise people here among us. So these factors might have all led. And we need to really study them like in the question and identify them so we can encourage and nourish them. Because today, your house is under siege. Your house is under attack. With the internet, do you know what your children are watching? They are having different stories now. There is a game, Grand Theft Auto, for example. Your children play it, and when they win at the highest peak, you are awarded with a prostitute. Imagine what is going to the child's mind at this stage. So the child must win and win and win and get prostitute. What are you doing? And your children are playing this at the internet cafes and you don't know. Your house is under attack. The television, the phones they are using, the pornography they are watching, you don't know what is happening. Thanks be to God, I had a computer company. So though I'm at this age, I still have some computer bite in me. So I can spy and see what is happening. Please, the stories are changing. And if we don't take care, if the same issue should rise, we may not have the solidarity of the old days stories of be kind to a stranger. This time, kill and kill and kill, and you are awarded a prostitute will become the goal.
Okay, so before we have our 2 questions from the audience, I just want a quick yes or no answer from all of you. With all that we have discussed, and seeking to have integrated and progressive communities, the goal of Planetary Liberation Day really is to bring us to the awareness and to own the fact that it's possible to have world peace in our lifetime. And so my question to you is, do you think that world peace in a lifetime is possible? Just a quick yes or no.
Yes, emphatically.
Brother Ishmael, I feel like I shouldn't ask you, right? But do you think that world peace in a lifetime is possible?
Yes, world peace is possible in our lifetime. It is happening as each one of us now.
My elder, do you think world peace is possible in our life?
Emphatically, yes. And it's happening right now.
Me, do you think it is possible for us to have world peace?
Very, very possible.
Thank you. And so now I'm just going to open the floor. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We're only taking 2. So be succinct and let's have your 2 questions. Anyone with questions or suggestions? Yes, we have a hand here.
My name is Emilia Ahaji from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Mine is not a question but a contribution. I'm really thankful to the Ethiopian Mission for organizing such a wonderful, wonderful activity, and I call it an initiative. In fact, we were glad when members from the Ethiopian Mission visited us and saw the good in the church and said, you can be a wonderful partner in fighting for peaceful coexistence. This is what we should seek as people. Very, very important than religious segregation. I love this pamphlet which says, are you for Christ or for the church from the Ethiopian Mission? My dear brothers and sisters, I will say that charity begins at home. Despite the challenges we're having currently, we as parents can start from home. I'm so proud of my late mother and father because they taught me words of wisdom. And I've used that principle to govern myself to today. In addition, from what my religious belief has taught me. Parents have shared their responsibilities so much that there is much suffering in the world. Education lies within us. We cannot do without the cultural leaders. Religion and culture are the same. Let's hold our hands together and fight this cause so that we will not fail as parents. I read a book which says, where did we go wrong as parents? We learn from home. And the children will take those values to the outside world. I'm not trying to be self-centered, but I want to set an example. I have a little boy who is studying outside. But based on the values and cultures he adopted from home and in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, he yoked with other people who are not of his faith. Even some don't go to church. But on Saturdays, when they are hanging out, they will say, Isaac, go home because tomorrow you are going to church. I think they found some values. And I'm so happy and give honor to our Father in heaven, Allah, God, who all worship, that it takes one person to bring about a change. So let us move on with this initiative. Our doors are open to collaborate with every religious sector who want to. And I think our beliefs is in line with what we are learning now. We have a program that we call the Child and Youth Development Plan. And we are putting up a gathering place where the rising generation will meet and study and learn from each other. And we have mentors and other mentees who are helping to have this fulfilled. And looking at the vision and mission of Ethiopian mission, I think we have a common goal to pursue. Thank you.
Shall we have one more if there's another question or a suggestion? Any more? We have a hand.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Dela Kweke Austin, and I'm an Ethiopian coming from Ethiopian Mission. And it's such a wonderful and awesome moment to be gathered here with such peaceful souls, peaceful people. The panelists have been fantastic. My only contribution to today's program and all that has been taught is that we seem to want to practice peace, but sometimes we are hesitant. But what has been ringing in my mind as I sat here listening to the message and the teachings for today is that when we find ourselves in crisis, for instance, you're on the sick bed, hospitalized, and the doctor says that you need blood. You wouldn't raise your hand and say that, give me the blood of a Christian. Neither would you question and say that, is that blood coming from my fellow Muslim because I'm a Muslim? We don't think about that. We only think about life. And so if at that level, you wouldn't even question, where is that blood coming from? Then at core level, we know we are one. And so the blood coming from a traditionalist, or coming from a Christian, or coming from a Muslim, or whatsoever the source, you take it wholeheartedly. And so let's not lie to ourselves. We are one people. And so if we are championing peace, let's champion it together. Because at that last minute when we breathe our last breath, we would want to look back and say that, did I play my role as a peaceful person to save the planet? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just going to take one more from a man because I want to balance it out. And I'm going to pick this time round. There's a very young man sitting right opposite me. Can you please bring the microphone here to Reverend Sasu? Reverend Dr. Sasu.
Hello, everyone. My nephew says I should give you my name and where I am coming from. My name is I Am. And I'm from God. Well, my name is Dr. Samuel Sasu, the founder, director of CSA Africa. I was a while ago whispering to my brother Ishmael when he was speaking. I wanted to remind him of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's bringing this boarding school together. And, you know, Christians, Muslims, and traditionalists, and people from everywhere were put into the same coop to be raised. And I remember going to school, and some of my best friends were Muslims. And we grew up from class 1 till we finished school, and we are still friends. Now, just imagine you living with someone you call a brother, but from different religions. Can you actually pick up a knife and fight that person? You cannot do that. And I used to tell my friends when I moved to the US that when I was growing up, I had some Lebanese friends. We never fought because of religion. We fought because of the food or whatever we were arguing about. You know, but people then were trying to say, oh, you are a black man, you must fight a white person. And I said, for what? What has he or she done to me? Okay. You see, when we look at culture, it comes from cultura, which is to cultivate. And just as we plant seeds and they grow up to be what they have been formulated to be, likewise, whatever thought you think will also come out for you to see that this is what I have been thinking about. Now, religion is to, religare, to bring together. Okay? So, what are we bringing people together to tell them hate one another, or we are bringing people together to ask to tell them, look at each other, we are all the same. In Akan, we call the sibling Minua, but it is a corrupted word. It is Minua. You see? It is Minua. If you have a sibling and you know that I am the same one, there is no way you can pick anything to hit that person. And are you okay now?
I'm very satisfied.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And with that, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for being a part of this discussion. I hope it was fruitful. Thank you to our panelists. This was very satisfying for all of us. Thank you very much. And I think that we have a musical interlude up. So let's sit and enjoy.
So that is new music. Nee is going to give us the interlude for today. Please, a round of applause for me.
Good morning, everyone. There comes a time when we heed a saddened call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can go on presenting day by day for someone, somewhere will soon make a change. As God has shown us by turning stone to bread, so we know love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me. Oh, lend your hearts so they know that someone cares, and your hearts will be stronger and free. As God has shown us by turning stone to bread, so you must lend a helping hand. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me. When you're down and out, there's still no hope at all. But if you just believe, it's more than we can find. Oh, let's realize that change will come when we come together as one. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. It's true, we'll make a brighter day. Just you and me. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Please, another round of applause. I think that voice just launched us into world peace, right? Thank you, New Music, for that wonderful rendition of the song. This time I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Forgive me if the title is wrong, but Mr. Abdourahamane. Please give us a short remark. Thank you. Do you mind giving us a short remark? What your thoughts are? What any contribution? Very short. Please use this. Please use this.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody. My name is Sir Ishmael. I've moved from Atu. I'm now a sir of the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem, Ghana jurisdiction. And just happy to be here and share your spirits and the moments of truth. Our lecturer, I've been watching you on Pan-African TV. Glad to meet you in person today. This face I've seen somewhere, I can't remember.
Before we came.
But I'm just glad to be in the presence of the traditional elders, Mime Kename. And as long as they are in our midst, we are covered because they are the custodians of the land and custodians of the people. As for our leader, brother and friend, who wishes to be called Brother Ishmael, we go way back. I'm just his junior brother. I want to congratulate the Tyre Mission for the wonderful works they're doing. And I always say that the African Hebrew Israelites, we have brothers and sisters all over the world, because I know I can go into any Eritrean home and rest, close my eyes, and don't feel that my head will be cut off. And so with other individuals in the country. You said question. My question one, first before I go to the 2 points is, I don't know why we don't have any lady here or sister here talking. Because if we have to liberate the planet, it's only the women who can do it. They are the movers and the shakers.
Actually.
Without them, nothing can be done. If you have them, you have blessings. If you don't have them, you have troubles. If you have them, you have troubles. And if you don't have them, you have troubles. So there's nothing that will go well in this world without the involvement of women. And many places where I go and I see all men, and the statistics tells us that there are more women, 5 to 1 in Ghana, and we always send them to the market, the kitchen, and all that. I'm sure in our next sitting we'll have 2 men and 2 women. I think my senior brother is also the Reverend Sasu. What we have here is a leadership crisis. When I was growing up, before they destroyed the Mokola market, there used to be a mosque on that side. And every Friday from school, I'll go to post office to take a bus to go home. And I'll stand there to listen to the Imam teach. And he has his people all over. And when he teaches, he will shout, if you are not a Muslim and you die, you will go to hell. Then the guys will say, Yabunsan Lami. Those guys who have 2. And I'm standing there, little boy from school, just listening. And every Friday I go. If you are not a Muslim and you die, Shalao, you go to Bayalami, Yabunsan yeah. I don't know how many of us remember, but there was a monk. Then there are these Christians who teaches that if you are not a Christian, you go to hell. So we have crisis in leadership, definitions. Who is the child of God, who is not? So that is where I see the problem. This planet can be a peaceful place if we follow the Prophet Mohammed, Moses, Abraham, Yeshua, who the Christians call Jesus, because they all came teaching peace and love. But then we turn it somewhere else and we began to teach hatred and define it as our personal property. Education. We have something we say, the only way to fight an alien culture is to build your own. Madam said it. Let's start. Ministry of Education will not do it. The Ministry of Religious Studies will not do it. The Ministry of Culture will not do it. Let's build our own educational system, either from home or have our own school and begin to teach our people and be generational. 50 years from now, the children that will come from us, they will protect the planet. They will do what we are talking now. If we want peace now, let's start with the children. Let's start with the children. 70 years from now, we will see the results because we will come back again and be happy what that generation has done. We believe that the righteous don't die. We believe the righteous don't die. That is why when the traditional leaders are pouring libation, they always call name of positive kings and queens and elders because they believe they are still with us. And if we believe we don't die, but we transfer the flesh, go back from where it comes from, one day we will come back in another body and we'll be happy for the seeds that we have planted 70 years ago. So let's start now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So with that, I want to congratulate the Tyrian Mission, leadership, members, and everybody, and know that you have members, brothers and sisters in the Hebrew movement throughout the world you can call upon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that profound statement. So we're almost at the end of this wonderful event that seeks to liberate the planet. To give us a summary of the vision and processes that Conscious Humanity has in place for world peace, we would call on the Director of Conscious Humanity and the leader founder of Ethereum Mission, Brother Ishmael Tetteh, to mount the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My great respect to my chief, and we have chiefs, we always have to acknowledge them. Nime, you're giving like a Agwasiem. So Nime, Name, and my honorable panel speakers, I've learned so much from you. Wow. Thank you so much. I give special thanks to our UNESCO head, though he's not here. I know his spirit is here. He had wanted to connect with us via, so I'm tall, they have to make it taller. All right. I'm okay. Thank you. So, though he's not here, I know his spirit is here with us. Technology couldn't make it possible for him to connect with us either. Some of the key elements I learned from this particular meeting is that we need collective objective for humanity. Collective objective of humanity, and that's what we call the need for planetary vision. Every business thrives from its core vision. So the business knows what it is working towards. When it comes to the planet, we don't have clear definition or vision for humanity. We talk about peace and there's no vision for peace. What does it look like? The world needs a vision that will enroll all of us into it. I have some peace ambassadors with here. Can you please declare for me our vision?
Our vision is that of a unified world in which everyone is a catalyst that is activating and promoting the innate good in one another.
This is one we coined. Our vision is that of a unified world in which everyone is a catalyst that is activating and promoting the innate good in one another. A world in which my life is calling forth the good out of you, and if I don't find it, I dig it. And if I find some good, I promote it. We believe that such a unified world is possible. If we don't have a vision, as the Bible will say, people without vision perish. So we don't have vision. So the world is still going in circles because we have not got a global vision from the United Nations that will enroll every nation to be part of that vision. The nations will trickle it down to the school system, so we all know this is a global vision of the planet. We're presenting this one. It may be modified to suit the world. It's not final. Also, I heard something that is very wonderful that We are actually having schooling and not education. This is why I coined my own word that what the world needs now is education. That's my own construct. That is the education that helps the individual to evolve what he or she innately is. Because life brought us here with some gifts of life. And I do not find education that is helping us identify this quality of nature, this quality of the power we choose to call God. It's all about what somebody has learned and is telling you to learn and know. In fact, even God is taught to us that this is what God is, and you have to learn it, you have to obey it, that this is what God is. If Bible says God is love, and no two people can love the same way, how is it possible that we can all have the same experience of God? Will it be possible? No. So you can help me find ways in which I can experience God my way. So that's why I love what my sister shared when you talk about what's happening in the Latter-day Saints. I will need to come closer and learn more, so we collaborate more. I'm looking for the day when I can go to under spiritual or religious institution and say, what do you do? How do you do it? How can I learn to teach my people? So we all learn ways of doing the same thing. That's the way the world progresses. So we have to go beyond schooling to now proper education that will help us to develop character. And he says transformational education. Yes, that's what we need. For us to have character training. When you read the peace manual, that I invite all of you to go to the website and download for free. The peace manual will be found in wealthpeaceinourlifetime.com. So please go onto that website and just download it. The second requirement we told the world, and we've been announcing and pronouncing, that the world needs to give the world ingredients to create character for peace. Character for peace. We need it. If we don't teach this in our school system, we don't teach it as a way of life, we will be talking peace year after year, day after day, and we shall be missing it out. And the third one, the only thing I know that we need to school, because it has been wayward for a very long time, is something very innate to ourselves. The problem is not out there. Peace is not an event that will happen someday. It is something we have to cultivate. The problem is within us. The senses needs to be schooled. The senses of sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. We see them as simple things. But it is what you see, smell, taste, touch, or hear that offends you. And the senses see separation. So you can't tell me because tomato and pepper are red, they are the same. Senses will show you the distinction. So senses see separation. We need a type of education that will help the senses to know that, yes, we all have different shapes and sizes of noses, but we are breathing the same air. The one life feeds all. And there are ways to teach this, and Conscious Humanity has developed all of these programs waiting to roll out. And I'm really happy for what you shared. So when the ideas come, when the ideas time come, nothing will stop it. I've taken it as my motto now. Thank you for sharing it. Because I know this ideas time will come. And nothing will stop us now, knowing how to school the senses. So senses see separation. Senses also see scarcity. Scarcity means there's not enough. So I will hoard for tomorrow and tomorrow's tomorrow. And the result is that we will kill one another to just keep hoarding. The third problem of the senses is that it has not understood the omni-drive. The omni-drive is our God nature to be more. When Bible told us, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion, it was a command to be more. But when it is skewed, to be more now means I'm greater than instead of greater with. When the singer earns $10,000 a month for singing, and the guitarist earns $15,000 a month for playing the guitar. But if the two were to come together, they may now earn $100,000 a month. So they have become bigger and greater with one another, not greater and better than one another. We need to change that language. There are times when we can say something is greater than in terms of object and quality. But besides that, as human souls, how can you be greater than me when we don't have the same thumbprint? When we don't have the same beginning and the same ending. So in line with this, Conscious Humanity has developed many tools. There are a lot of things I would have told you, but my able panelists have shared all. So just to let you know some projects we have ahead of us. As I'm speaking, we are in the process of finalizing an app, what we call My Peace app. Maybe the name may change because so far we have only one woman and two gentlemen developing this product. And when we finish, it goes to a team, and then the team will vet it. So My Peace app is an app which is hoping that when it comes out, it will use games to offer inspiration for people who are distressed and stressed. It will give inspirations towards peace and slowly and subjectively instill in us the need for us to see ourselves as greater with one another, and also to school our senses in very subtle ways using games. It will give daily inspirations. It will also offer solutions right in your palm so that you can, like some of you who know Alexa or Bixby, you speak to it and say, my peace, I'm feeling distressed. My peace, I'm feeling depressed. My peace, I'm feeling lonely. And instantly, based on your gender, based on your age, it will give you age and gender specific information that will bring you to peace. Or even take you through a 5 minutes meditation that will give you to peace. And if the information doesn't give you peace, it will take you to a deeper level and a deeper level and a deeper level. It's something we are preparing now. The next program that we have is what we call the CEC, Cultural Engagement for Cultural Enhancement. And I'm really happy that I have my chief right behind me, because maybe he may be one of our first community. We also have, fortunately, the Justice Chair of Ghana also with us. So, he's not here today. And we're trusting that we can do this project. The goal is to go to the communities, be with your community, and help you understand even the culture of your state, so that you can bring it to secular understanding. Often, only one or two persons in the community knows. How many people of the Gans know the essence of Homowo? How many of them of Ewes know the essence of Hube Chocho? Our cultures have been built by our stories. What are the stories of your community that are building your people? In what ways can these be fine-tuned? By our stories, which have built our cultures. Send your child today to live in Kumasi for 3 years, and the child will develop into the groundbreaking spirit of the Ashantis. It means a new story is going into the child. Today, if you observe very closely, Ewes have got the spirit of industry, in carpentry, fitting, mainly Ewes. So we see the industrial spirit in the Ewes, which can be blended with the hard-working spirit of the Nanumbes and Kokumbes, which can be packaged in the groundbreaking spirit of the Ashantis or the Ashantis, and then put to the business spirit of the Pawus, and packaged by the beautification spirit of the Fantis, and then managed by the Ghana honesty. And we've got national character for success, am I right? So we need to ask ourselves, how come this community have got this sort of character? Is their stories. We want to engage the communities to find the stories that have created their people, see how to fine-tune them, turn them into even modern applications on the computer, internet for youth and so on, so that our culture will not die. And then two, the culture that has made us hospitable, peace-loving people will continue to survive. So we call it a CECE program. All these require a lot of funds. Somebody somewhere will probably guide us to how we can make this possible. When it comes to religion, these are organized bodies. And we also tend to touch base with religion itself. And thank God I happen to be a minister, because God tricked me into it. And to give attention to how to practice your religion is also a game we want to play. So that come on television, radio, how to practice your religion. So instead of telling me of Islam, I want a game that will show me how to practice Islam. And then that way, of practicing Islam, the another person's way. In so doing, we shall be giving attention to the essence and the practice of the religion instead of just the paraphernalia of religion. I love Islam way of praying. I used to be a Muslim some time ago, and I love it because by the time you finish the prayer, you have exercised the whole body. Are you aware of that? And I said, the Prophet Mohammed, peace be unto him, was very wise. And there are many other benefits, all right? So I've learned another way of praying, another way of praying. Is it the putting the head on the ground or the consciousness of the person? These are things we need to give attention to, right? So there are many ways you can participate with us to donate to our cause. That is one. To be a peace advocate, and to do that, all you need to do is to download our peace manual and then connect with us so we start conversing on the peace manual. The peace manual has got some tools already that you can start practicing. At the close of the day, please hand over your registration form, and if you have agreed for us to add you to the peace ambassadors, we'll join you to the WhatsApp platform so they start receiving the peace ambassadors education materials and conversations. So you are with us. We have the peace ambassadors. Do I have some hands here, peace ambassadors here? Okay, so there are many of them here right now. So you can join the peace ambassadors. And furthermore, you can even choose after a year or two of being a peace ambassador to offer yourself to be trained as a peace trainer. So we train you on how to carry the message forward. At the end of it all, I once again invite you to go to our website, wellpeaceinourlifetime.com. We've got a lot of teaching there, and we're going to add many more. This program and many other things I'd like to share with you will all be there soon. I believe we shall get a soft copy of some of your talks and so on, the videos, and they'll all be there so you can go and learn and listen to this over and over again. From the soul of my soul, I thank you so much. I see wonderful people here. But before I sit down, let me ask a question. How many of you, if you were invited to a mosque to pray, you will go? Let me see your hands. If you're invited to a Christian church to go and pray, if you're invited to the traditional shrine, we've got the clear empirical evidence that world peace is possible. And thank you for establishing it for me. Peace.
Yes, indeed, world peace is possible, and it starts with you and me. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of some chiefs here. Ni Lakai the first from the Sementia Man. He is the Sementia Manche, please. And then we have Ni Kwashie Otungbutri the first, the sub-chief of English Yamanfo Brigade. Please, if he's here. Thank you. It's so wonderful that we can be in a room full of people with diverse beliefs, cultural backgrounds, experiences, and still share such profound truth that peace is possible, that we are ambassadors of peace, and it starts with ourselves. And it's been a good day. It's been a great day. And we hope that Conscious Humanity will continue to reach out to us, and it will not be just a conversation that ends in a room, that it would go on, the media houses will pick it, and then it becomes something that the world acknowledges as fact. Thank you also to the media houses, all who are represented here, Adom, Joy News, Atinka TV, Pan-African TV, Daily Graphic. In fact, the support has been marvelous. Please, let's give them a hand. All the media houses that came to support our event. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Yes, so our special guest has tried, in fact, he was on flight from Northern Region. He was trying as much as possible to get here, but in fact, we appreciate the fact that he's still trying to connect with us, and he's been able to send us a video. I'm sure he was even at the airport sending this video. Please, let's appreciate that. We appreciate that. So the video will play. That's Mr. Diallo.
Dear participants, we've just landed in in Accra. I'm sorry I couldn't join you online, though we have tried hard before reaching the airport in Tamale. Hello, good afternoon. Salam alaikum, dear participants. We've just landed in Accra. I'm sorry I couldn't join you online, though we have tried hard before reaching the airport in Tamale and in Tamale Airport. Well, thanks God, we arrived safely in Accra and in Kotoka International, and happy to send you some images and share a few words with you. So first of all, really congratulations and thank you for this invitation. I have been able to follow a few part of the discussions, and very, very interesting, very insightful, and UNESCO would have loved to be all along the conversation, but it's just a first opportunity, and I'm sure that from today will be will pursue this dialogue. UNESCO, the constitutive act of UNESCO, has said that since wars raise in minds of men and women, this is in the minds of men and women that we should elevate, build the defense of pieces. So building peace in minds of women and men. This is our objectives through education, through sciences, through culture, through communication and information. All our information, that our activities, our support to government, to the civil society, are gearing to the same objective, building peace in the minds of men and women. Our intervention are diversified. I shared with you our intervention, 6 pages, a long one, but showing the different type of interventions from education, sciences, culture and communication, right to education, peace education, the teaching of history. Objective is to know your past, you know your present, to build better your future. Knowledge about the history, about the slave route, about the slave, the transatlantic slave, so that the minds of the youth and the current generation being aware of what happened, what is happening, and how they can navigate in this world. In culture, a lot of intervention that can contribute to peace, bringing.
Okay, so please let's give Mr. Diallo a hand. We appreciate the effort. With the intervention he spoke of, we'll do well to put it on our website, www.peaceinourlifetime.com, so you have a look at it. Media houses, it will be passed on to you as well, to know that from the institutional side, peace is also a subject of importance. So you can get that also on our website. Thank you all so much for your time. It's been great. The next part after the prayer, we're going to have pictures. So the pictures are going to be in order. Please, you have to be settled down. People would come around with refreshments. You stay in your seats, and people will come around with refreshments for you. So we'll have the closing prayer, and after that, I'll read out the order of photography. Is going to happen right up here, so you all be seated as it goes on, and the people come around with your refreshments. So to end the day, we had a prayer from Sister Josephine Tetteh in the beginning, so we'd have a Muslim representative, if there's any Muslim representative here, to give us a closing prayer, would be great. Yes, great. Please, step forward. Thank you. Yes. Thank you to everyone.
Good afternoon. Yes. Okay. Okay. What we have done here, we did it for the benefit of humanity. may Allah and God be in charge of it. I believe you all believe in God, so may Allah be in charge of it and help us to achieve our aim. And like we said, we believe that there can be peace in the world, and all our prophets, the traditionalists, and like I said, the prophets, that's both the religions, all believe in peace. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Okay.
So yes, the order of photography. Please, camera. Yes, you're ready. So we have the panelists first. Please up, still on the stage. Yes, please. They are positioned to take the pictures. So please settle down in your seats as well. Media men, right after photography, you can take your interviews and then you wait. Please look into the camera here. Okay, next we have the panel with the entourage from Latter-day Saints. If you're here, please join them up. Please look into the camera in the center there. Thank you. Ready. Thank you so much. We have the panel and Islamic team. We have the Islamic team. Please join in. If you're a Muslim and you're here, please join up. The Islamic team. Okay. Thank you. Chiefs, all chiefs here, please, if you're a chief and you're here, please join them. Let's take these pictures. All chiefs. The chiefs and their entourage, please. All chiefs and entourage. Yes. Please, can we can form another line here. Please, what's the direction? Please come, yeah.
When we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one, there are people dying.
uplift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day
that someone somehow will soon make a change.
All a part of God's great big family, and it's true, you know, love is all we need. We are the children. We are the ones who make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me. Well, set up your heart, oh, so they know that someone cares.
so their cries for help will not be in vain.
We can't let them suffer. No, we cannot turn away.
Right now, they need a helping hand.
No someone lie. We are the children.
We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving.
Oh, there's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives.
It's true, we make a better day, just you and me.
When you're down and out, and there seems no hope at all.
But if you just believe, there's no way we can fall.
I'll realize, oh, that change can only come when we stand together as
I believe they are sharing the.
we are.
I believe refreshments are being served.
Gotta start giving.
Thank you all so much. Having not got to refreshment, please stay.
You
We're making, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. Let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me.
Come on now, let me hear you.
We are the what's your will to live?
We'll amplify the love and watch it multiply.
Feeling like the world's end, we can make the world win.
Like Katrina, Africa, Indonesia, and now Haiti needs us. They need us, they need us.
We are the children.
Wow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. You know, We Are the World 25 is an opportunity for us to see what we can do to help our fellow man. Haiti right now is in desperate need of our help, and only you can help them. Do what you can. Haiti needs your help now.